Welcome back to GG Recon Gaming and a happy 2023 to you all. This is a year which is shaping up to be absolutely massive for games, and it's pretty safe to say we have a lot of them coming out. There were absolutely hundreds of choices we could have put on this list, but we managed to whittle it down to just 22. So these are the 22 games you absolutely cannot afford to miss this year. And we're going to start with Hogwarts Legacy. You have to have been living under a rock to have not heard about Hogwarts Legacy yet. The Harry Potter inspired game is set to launch in February for PS5, Xbox Series X and S and PC, followed by a release for the PS4, Xbox One and Nintendo Switch throughout the year. The one kicker for a lot of people right now is the lack of multiplayer elements in the game, but personally I can see these being added later in the year, or the following year as a new feature, rather like that promised Cyberpunk Online DLC that we are still waiting for. Hogwarts Legacy has a ton of features that will guarantee you spend hours on this game. It's not going to be one of those that you finish in 10 hours, thankfully. This will be a long game, which is more than welcome in what is shaping up to be a very busy February. Next we've got Atomic Heart. This is one of those games that, despite the fact it is seemingly complete and very close to releasing, I still don't have a clue what the game is actually meant to be about. It's a wild mishmash of Fallout-like combat with some of the weirdest enemies I've ever seen. The boss battle that was showcased looks like something straight out of that scene in the first Incredibles film where they all fight that robot ball with lasers. I'm completely fascinated by Atomic Heart. It's almost like a morbid curiosity way as well. It looks like it could be one of the most unique games ever released. Next we've got Sons of the Forest. Anyone who played the original Forest game will no doubt be excited for this sequel. The Forest was such a unique game in so many ways. It was a horror game that also doubled up as a base builder and was also one of the funniest games that you could ever play with your friends. A simple YouTube search for The Forest will show hundreds of videos of people playing it and making some hilarious yet ridiculous decisions in the game. Sons of the Forest looks to be taking all of those elements and adding even more to them. I simply cannot wait to get lost in this new and spooky adventure. Next we have the Dead Space remake. It seems remakes and remasters have been all the rage over the past couple of years, but unfortunately only a few of them reach their full potential. From what we've seen so far, it looks like the Dead Space remix is going to be one of those that will fully break the mold and possibly even play better than the original. Dead Space was a game that revolutionised survival horror, but it feels a little outdated and clunky now when compared to some modern day games. The remake is aimed to bring what made the original so great to a modern audience with updated controls and movement mechanics, as well as tweaks to the weapons and the way that they fire and move. I cannot wait to get my hands on this one. Next we have Wo Long Fallen Dynasty. Now this title has me very excited and curious at the same time. Not an awful lot is known at this stage about Wo Long Fallen Dynasty, but the trailers we've seen so far make the game look very promising indeed. From what we've read so far, it looks like it's going to be a mix between Ghost of Tsushima and Dynasty Warriors, with the game taking place in the Han Dynasty, but also incorporating massive demon-like enemies. This actually could be the spiritual successor to Sekiro, just without the namesake. Following on from that, we have Star Wars Jedi Survivor. How can you not be excited about the next chapter of this great Star Wars themed gaming series? Jedi Fallen Order took the world by storm when it was released, with many calling it the most complete Star Wars based game of all time. I have to say, I fully agree with them. Jedi Fallen Order really broke the barrier when it came to Star Wars games, and to me, was the game of the year when it was released. Jedi Survivor is looking to take that success and make it even bigger than before. This is going to be huge, and March cannot come soon enough. Next we had the Resident Evil 4 remake. Resident Evil 4 is still regarded by most as the greatest game in the whole of the Resident Evil series. The original still holds up to this day and is a masterpiece in gaming. This new game aims to follow in the steps of the original trilogy of remakes, which are all highly praised by fans around the world. The Resi 4 remake is aiming to bring a whole new level of control to the player, as well as updating a lot of mechanics which now feel outdated, and also adding a whole new layer of depth to the story. Next we have Dead Island 2. This is a game that has been wanted by fans for years now, so it's safe to say there's a lot of pressure on the shoulders of the producers for this one. When a game has been anticipated for as long as this one, you really need to knock it out the park for it to be considered a universal success. I hope that Dead Island 2 nailed this one, and managed to produce a classic, unlike Duke Nukem Forever, which I never ever want to mention on a video again. Yes, I am still completely scarred from that one. Next we have Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. It's safe to say that the most recent batch of superhero games have been slightly disappointing. Gotham Knights was not everyone's cup of tea, and the Avengers game flew way off the mark. So it's safe to say there's a lot of pressure riding on the shoulders of Suicide Squad. The latest movie release for the Suicide Squad had a very positive reception, but I feel the delays to this game may have hurt it slightly. There will no doubt be a few more gaming conferences before it's penciled to release later this year, so there is still plenty of time to build that hype back up. Next we have Diablo 4. This game is shaping up to be huge. The team have taken elements that people liked from both Diablo 2 and 3 and have mixed them together into a simply delicious concoction to create Diablo 4. Diablo 3 was a hit and miss game for a lot of people. Despite its universal success, quite a few fans of the original two games were disappointed by the third installment. It seems that gameplay wise, Blizzard had taken a lot more elements from Diablo 2 rather than 3. All signs point towards this being a very positive outing for the team so far. I mean, it can't go any worse than Diablo Immortal, right? Next we have Marvel's Spider-Man 2. You absolutely do not need me and this video to tell you why you should be excited for this game to release. The original Marvel Spider-Man is still seen as one of the greatest games to ever release on the PlayStation, and the follow-up Miles Morales was just as widely praised. Now we have the latest addition to the series on the way, which will feature both Spider-Man in action, along with the addition of longtime villain Venom. It's still unknown as of yet if Venom will be the actual villain, or some form of ally, but the hype is real for the next Spider-Man game, there's no denying that. Next we have Hollow Knight Silksong. Hollow Knight is perhaps one of the most loved indie games out there. The original set the bar very high for future indie titles to emulate its success, and it is still considered to be at the top of the pile to this day. This puts a ton of pressure on Silksong to deliver, but I have a lot of faith in the sequel and believe it will live up to the hype. Next we have Hades 2. Speaking of a game that has a lot of pressure on it after a wildly successful first game, we have Hades 2. This was first announced at the Game Awards and blew the world away. Hades was such a clever and fun game to play, and Hades 2 looks to be following that mold exactly. My fingers are crossed that Hades 2 will be a universal success. And you know what? I don't think I'm going to be let down. Next we have Starfield. This is Bethesda's big game this year, so it needs to be a home run for them. There have been multiple delays for Starfield already, so the pressure really is on for this game to deliver. From the previews that we've been shown so far, the game looks hugely ambitious and is looking to deliver on a massive scale. This is potentially the biggest risk Bethesda have ever taken on a game, and they really need a pick-me-up after the Fallout 76 disaster. Hopefully Starfield can deliver this. Next we have Haunted Chocolatier. This is the latest offering from Concerned Ape, and it looks to deliver the exact same charm that Stardew Valley had. Anybody who plays Stardew Valley will instantly recognise the art style and gameplay elements, but Haunted Chocolatier is looking like it's going to be taking a lot more story-driven approach when compared to Stardew Valley. The release date is not confirmed as of yet, but we're hoping that 2023 will be the year that we see Haunted Chocolatier. Next we have Fae Farm. This is a farming game with a magical twist. You will explore, cultivate, grow, and evolve your farm using your magical powers. These powers will both allow you to grow your farm and explore the mysterious island of Azoria. This has the potential to become the coziest game of the year for me. Next we have Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 has been years in the making and the hype level is through the roof for it. Pikmin 3 was re-released a few years back and now it's got our appetite up for a new Pikmin game. If this game will actually release in 2023 is anyone's guess as of right now, but we're absolutely praying it does. Next we have Disney Dreamlight Valley. Yes, we are aware that this is not a new game, but it is one that has a huge amount of content that needs to drop this year. We've barely scratched the surface with the amount of characters, costumes, items and quests that you can get from the Disney Dreamlight Valley universe, so you can expect 2023 to be a huge year for the game. Next we have Witchbrook. Mix Stardew Valley and Harry Potter and you've got Witchbrook. This charming new game is being developed by Chucklefish Studios, and it doesn't have a release date as of yet, but it has been in development for quite a while now. Hopefully we get to see a lot more from the game this year, and if we are lucky, a 2023 release date. Next we have Payday 3. The much anticipated next installment of the Payday series is landing this year, and we can expect the same amount of carnage that we have seen from the previous entries. Payday is one of those games that does not get the love it deserves a lot of the time, so hopefully Payday 3 can win back a lot of fans and show just how good the series can be. Finally, we had The Day Before. Do you like The Last of Us? Well, The Day Before is the exact game you need to fill that void after The Last of Us series has seemingly halted. It's looking like a mix between Days Gone and The Division, and has already faced several delays. 2023 seems to be the definite year for its release, so hopefully it can be as good and as fun as it looks on the trailers. So there were 22 games you can expect to see this year that you really need to try. Honestly, there's so many more, and 2023 is going to be an absolutely massive year for gaming, and you know what? We're going to be here with you for the whole time. So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to GG Recon Gaming, and we'll catch you next time.